Hey guys, welcome back. Andrew here, and we're about to disassemble a Lumix GH6. This has a problem with the display. Power it on, nothing shows on the display. The LED indicator is on, and if I switch over here, you see the display turns on, but there's no graphics. I'm gonna switch over to the viewfinder. I can see the picture. So if I put my hands down there, you can see through the viewfinder right there, there's some light. Turn that off. And I want to confirm that this is not the graphics chip issue, so we're gonna connect an HDMI just to confirm that. Right now I'm connecting it to the Atmos Ninja. This should be able to display if there's no issue with the graphics chip. So yeah, just after connecting it, you can see it works just fine there, no problem. Let's put my fingers over there at the end of the lens, so it's not an issue of the graphics card, so you can see right there. So that's perfect. Anyway, we just need to jump in and disassemble this baby. Just change that display. Okay, so this display costs about 600 RMB. We're gonna power this off, disassemble, cover this just like that, and cover our lens over here. Protect that, put it on this side. We've got a couple of screws that I'm gonna say left side, right side. We're gonna say L, and then we're gonna do our screws over here. Front, bottom screws right over here. BT is gonna be for bottom. BK, we'll just call that back, right? So we've got a back screw right over here. That's gonna go out first. We should have 1, 2, 3 screws there on the left side. Most people are afraid of opening cameras. You know, they're very expensive. You're afraid to just open it by yourself, right? And that's okay. If you have a problem opening it, you send it to a specialist or an expert. And then if you remove this viewfinder cover here, and then for the back, this also we put on the back side, these 2 screws that were taken out from here. And for this one, guys, not necessarily. I think you don't need to take this one out, but just be safe. Next, you want to go to these sides and you want to grab your blade for this one. Be very gentle, guys. You don't want to rip this apart. So you go in there just like that. So that's your back grip. We're gonna just put it on this side. That's the back grip. And then we're gonna take out one more back screw here. At the bottom, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws that need to come off. The reason for me just showing you exactly here labeled on the table is you don't want to misplace where these screws go in, especially for expensive equipment. You want to know exactly where the screws came out of. These screws have different length, heights. We finished with the bottom there. 1, 2, 3, 4 screws out. Make sure there's no memory card before you proceed, and you can go right over there. Find the opening that's gonna make sure you don't break this apart, and be very gentle. It comes off easily, and the good thing about the glue here, we can already see the 2 screws there. The good thing about the glue here is it's gonna be able to stick again, but if you just want to be more sure about the glue itself, you can always place some more glue on there again. So okay, let's take this out just like that. Okay, and that's your right hand grip off. We're gonna place it over here just like that. We've got the 2 screws there that need to come off. Again, I mentioned we have the front side. Let's just check if we have any front screws that need to come off. Okay, we've got some front screw right here and front screw right here. But do we need to take these out because we're just disassembling it for the LCD to be replaced? No, we do not need to take those out at all, unless you're working for disassembling this other part. Also, for the 2 bottom screws, we do not take them out because we're not disassembling to change anything on the front part, but then on the back part only. We're going to take out the battery because now we're going to start accessing the PCBA and touching cables and all those things. We want to make sure the camera is off, and I want to lock this so that we're not making anything move around. Everything is out. The next step you want to do is you want to open the camera by just prying it on the sides like that. You can use either these types of pries, this type of pry, and if you're very confident, you can also use a blade, but you don't want to use something that's gonna make you uncomfortable or end up breaking your camera. Okay, so just like that, pry it open and it starts opening up, and you can see already, guys, when it's opening up on the sides there, it will show you exactly what is left, what needs to be removed as well. Also at the bottom here, guys, you want to be extra careful. There's a flex cable there, so you don't want to use something that will just jab in there. So this is why I'm using this. So I said you can use a blade. You might cut that flex cable and might be ending up buying another flex cable. Anyway, do not use a knife or blade. Use one of these or one of this. Okay, so once we have that out of here just like that, push that up, and you want to be very gentle as you're opening it. There's two flex cables in there that you do not want to break apart. You want to be very gentle as you're opening. So the two flex cables are very visible right now, and what I want to do is you can either open them from this side or this side, and for me, I feel more confident laying the camera down just like that. Okay, so you can slide it over to the front like that without extending the flex too much, and I'm doing this for your visual representation so that you guys can see it visually. And you want to just disconnect those two flex cables again without wasting too much of your time. You have the back part disassembled off of your GH6. We don't need to do anything with this part, and you want to secure it, put it in a place where again it's safe and sound. I'm just gonna put it next to myself right here because this is gonna be a quick one. Okay, so right here we've got our display. This is where all the display is happening. We've got two displays in the GH6. For the viewfinder, you actually have an actual display inside there, and also the actual flex that connects to the actual display that we're actually gonna remove. Okay, so we're just gonna take out this PCBA, and this is gonna be we're gonna label this as PCBA screws. So the PCBA screws will go here. So we've got 1, 2, 3 screws for the PCBA. And also guys, the other thing you want to do is you can either disconnect just like that, disconnect those flex cables in advance, or you can disconnect them after removing the screws. My personal recommendation is disconnect them before you remove the screws, because you don't want anything flying or breaking while you're disconnecting. And you don't want to handle the PCBA if you're not wearing an ESD. Just be safe from static. So 1 connector for cables and 4 flex that need to be disconnected. 1, 2, 3, and 4 right over here. We do not disconnect this one, and this is all flying from the back there. So let's go disconnect here, disconnect there, and one last flex cable here that needs to be disconnected, which is one of the reasons why this one here has some glue there, so we'll do that one probably last. Let's see, let's remove this one. That one is out, and now we can easily remove this one. It doesn't really matter at this point if I rip this one apart or if it breaks, because we're replacing it anyway. It's coming with a display that we're replacing. So we open this, we have our PCBA, and I'm gonna put it right over here with its screws. So we're gonna go over now to the heatsink. So you've got heating pads over there, the heatsink, copper heatsink there, and on the back, let's remove those screws and see. So sink, right? You can organize your screws in those little boxes. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 screws for the heatsink here. Use a prying tool, and we're just gonna lift up just like that. And that's our heatsink all the way out here. Heatsink is out. Next thing is this flex cable, guys. You also want to keep in mind on how it goes in here. So you want to remember how it goes inside. So this goes in there, and then it folds over to the front here, and this sticks onto the heatsink, on top of the heatsink, right over there, and then it goes in onto the PCBA conveniently. Alright, so remove the fan. So fan. Now we want to remove the actual see all the things we have to remove just before we can actually take out the display. This is why you want to send this to a specialist, so that they don't end up breaking other things. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws that need to be loosened or removed. I can see it already has some glue in there, so these might not be able to come out all the way depending on how it goes. So let's go ahead and start removing them. Okay, that one I feel is already out. 2, 3. Okay, this one came out, and we're gonna say display, right? Display. This also came off. Let's see if the other one comes off. Okay, anything else left in here? Yep, there's one more left here on the top. Oh, and it just fell over there. So okay, so that's out, and you can see here, guys, the display cable is out. There's different ways to go about this one, guys. You can go ahead and just buy this cable and replace it, because I know that's the cable that's damaged here. But then, of course, the owner of this is willing to change the whole thing. Why not? So that's the old one, old display, and on the back it looks like that. That's where the other things are gonna go back and hold in place. We've got our brand new display in here. Okay, and that's how the packaging came. So all right, our new display in here looks good to me. So we've got a little bend right over there, just like that. Way. So first thing is we push that flex cable in there conveniently. So we place it on the table, and it needs to face that way around, and this needs to be facing the same direction. Push that flex cable in there, pull it onto this side, and you do have some glue tabs, so be very careful, guys. When you're pulling the flex, be very careful. I cannot stress this more than I am right now. Okay, once you're in there, now we can fasten those screws. This one just popped out, and your entire assembly right now should look like this. Are we in the correct position? Yes, we're in the correct position, and we can start putting those screws in. Okay, first screw is in. We go for the other short screw here, just like that, and then the other two screws here that didn't come out, and over here, just like that. Make sure all the screws are fastened tight, all the flex cables are in, and then over here on the inside you want to remove the glue. You want to remove that, so remove this just like that, and then you want to glue this over in there, and it locks into position. Let's see if you guys can see that. So just like that, and it sits very well in position there, just like that. Once you do that, next thing you want to do is grab your fan, your heat fan right there, heat dissipation fan. Okay, let's put that in gently. So this cable curves a little bit, so push it in there. Okay, once it's inside, we should be good, just like that. We go and place our heat sink in there, making sure that nothing is being caught up, nothing is being broken. Okay, and then now we reach the point where we see this curve that goes in there, and the cable bends to this side, actually in there. So we're gonna push this cable behind here, just like that, and it should be able to bend easily. We're gonna use our screwdriver here just to push it in there so that it can bend in there slightly. Okay, once it goes in, you should be able to see this tab, glue tab on this side, just like that, adhesive, which will be able to go on the side of the PCBA, just like that. Okay, on top of the PCBA. Okay, so we put this over here just like this. Make sure there's no cable left behind, and we see that there's one cable that's left behind here. We bring it in here just like that. Okay, now we put the screws that need to go in for the heat sink. Starting with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, make sure those are well locked in place. And since we're locking this thing in place, we want to make sure there's no fingerprints left in there. Make sure there's no fingerprints inside. I don't like leaving fingerprints in people's devices. Put the PCBA in. You want to make sure this flex cable here that goes on the viewfinder needs to be at the bottom. So just like that, place it in there like this. Lock that in place. After we put this flex, because this flex will push the display up, I want to start putting those screws in. First screw goes right over there. Second screw. Next one. You know, guys, what I really like about this, again, I noticed something here. We have that flex cable trying to hide under there. Make sure that guy is following us wherever we're going. All your 3 screws are in here. We started with display. We went to heatsink, PCBA. So the assembly part, that's in. Next, we have this little guy here. This tiny guy here. Really stubborn. So push that in all the way till it hits that line. We're gonna place this for the fan cooling system right there, and it's assembled. Oh, before, actually guys, we forgot one thing. This needs to come off one more time. Okay, because I forgot to remove the tab here. After removing the tab, it should go just around the screw like this, and then we're gonna put that in there. Perfect, right? Make sure the lines are aligning just like that. Okay, aligning to me. I don't know about you guys. Okay, now we're gonna assemble the whole thing, the whole unit, and we're gonna push the cables back in. Now we're just doing everything in reverse. You guys won't be able to see this very clearly. Okay, cable is in all the way. The other cable, let's push that in as well. And you have very limited space to work with here. Okay, it's in there. Okay, once you put the flex cables just like that, make sure they're all aligned up in there. Confirm. Yep, looks good to me. And then we can just close the baby up like this. Align everything. And here there's actually a lock that's there. A little tiny lock. I don't know if you guys can see it there. Yeah, that needs to align as much as possible for it to close in place. So align that, and then it closes in place. You notice everything is closed. And then at this point in time, also make sure here at the bottom nothing is sticking out, just like that. Before I put all the screws there, I'm just gonna hold it in place like this. Open it this way. We're gonna pop in a battery. Make sure it's off. Pop in a battery. Right. Turn on the camera. There we go, guys. The display is working perfectly. No problem. Does the touch work? Of course it works. I'm gonna go to my functions there, and we can see everything shows clearly on the display. Perfect, right? Before it wasn't working, now it's working. Nothing needs, and we can try flipping it around just like that. So we can flip it this way and flip it this way. So the gyroscope confirmed is working. And we can also do something like this. Pop it up to the front just like that, and no problem at all. Flip it this way and flip it this way. Works perfectly. Orientation is maintained. Flip it this way and this way. Orientation is maintained. That is fixed, guys. Now just need to assemble. I'm gonna pop on a lens just for the non-believers. For the non-believers, let's go pop on a lens there. Ooh, too much light coming in there. Let's turn it off and then pop a lens on there just to confirm. If you've got a lighter lens, you want to do that with a lighter lens, because this, we didn't put the screws back on. You wanted to remove the lens cap, right? Align this just like that. Turn that on, and let's see if we have a picture. There we go, guys, and we do have a picture. Let me just readjust my ISO there, and we've got PCBA, heatsink, our display, fan over here. Okay, you get the point, guys. It's fixed, right? Menu, everything works. Can we switch with the live viewfinder here? Press that button, and you can see in the live viewfinder it turns off conveniently, goes back here. Very important, does this button work? Let's go there. It does work. You can see that pop on and off. And we don't have a memory card here to just confirm on some images, but then yeah, the problem that was with this camera has been fixed. All we need to do now is assemble. Let's go ahead. We're gonna start with what's left here. Turn off the camera. Put that screw in here, right under there, just like that. So we're gonna remove the lens, and we're gonna do this just like that, so that it's much more convenient for me to move the camera around. Okay, we didn't remove any front screws. We just removed the right screws. So let's go for the right. Two right screws here. Two right screws. Go. Press it together just like that, so those go in just like that. Next we're gonna go for the bottom, right? Yes, let's go for the bottom. These numbers actually are wrong. So we've got display, we've got fan is number 2, this becomes number 3, and PCBA was number 4. And then what do we have here? Bottom, number 5. Okay, so this is an easy fix. I cannot say this much. This is an easy fix, just like that. Okay, let's see. Now we go to the left side. We've got 3 screws that go on the left side, starting with this one. Push that in. Next, this one here that goes in between the HDMI and Type-C cable. Last one here, just like that. Camera looks good. Okay, we're gonna go to the back side again. We've got our gold one here, or our copper screw, which goes in right here. And once we put this one, we can actually go, let's finish the back, right? Like that. Put that here and there. Okay, so I went all over the place with this. So 5, 6, and then 7 for the back, right? Next thing, we're gonna put this back in there just like this. We have our back grip on there, and you can see, guys, it sticks really well, no problem at all. Okay, and we're gonna put this one right over here. No other screws are left. Make sure all this is aligned just like that. Okay, guys, as you can see, that is the repair done for the GH6 disassembly and also screen replacement, display replacement for the GH6. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and see you in the next one.